Das Rock-Antenne-Interview mit Roger Hodgson. So Roger, first of all, welcome in Munich. Good to have you here. It's a great pleasure and a good reason because you're gonna play live. So the first question, what does it mean for you, playing live?
Playing live, it's what my heart is telling me to do right now, and it's really better than ever. I think because I'm older, I'm wiser, and I think I know more how to connect with the audience now. And it's not something I try to do, it's something in here. And I think it's just I'm having so much fun, and I think it's amazing to have so many songs that people love and people want to hear, and that bring back so many memories for them. To look out and see so many generations. I see 7-year-olds to 70-year-olds. I mean, and everything in between, and I feel very, very blessed. I'm a very, very lucky man.
You tried different, let's say, sorts of performing. You did duo, you did with the orchestra, you did with the band. What do you prefer?
I like them all. I really do. They're all very different. And I prefer to do them all too, because the orchestra is obviously very exciting, and to have that huge, great sound and so many musicians playing in harmony and sync, and Fool's Overture. I always envision that with an orchestra, and so to hear that is like, goosebumps. But the duo is a whole nother experience. I play with my Canadian friend Aaron MacDonald, and it's a very intimate show. And there's something very magic when people hear Take the Long Way Home or Breakfast in America without the band, with just the way it sounded when I wrote it. And people prefer that show maybe more than anything. But I love the band. I have a great band also, so I'm very happy to have all three.
So let's go back in the career. I've just listened to the first 2 albums on my way here to the interview, and listening to those albums and then to Crime of the Century, that's a huge step.
Huge difference, yeah.
What does Crime of the Century mean to you nowadays? What comes to your mind?
Oh, it was a powerful time. I think the biggest difference, it's stunning, the difference between Indelibly Stamped and Crime of the Century. And I think that the difference was that Crime of the Century was the first time that the songs became personal. Before, for Indelibly Stamped, I was still trying to write a song the way other people wrote, But on Crime of the Century, suddenly it was my heart expressing itself. And Hide in Your Shell, for example, was very much about me and about how difficult life was for me at that time, because I was 23 and had many questions, and I was very shy and introvert, and I had a lot going on inside. So that expressed a lot of my kind of pain, if you like, and or my needing to find my way. And the same with Rick. Rick's songs were very personal on that album, very powerful in another way. So it had that very, and then symbolically for the two of us, the cover, the bars, that really was us trying to get out, I believe. Now looking back, I didn't know it at the time, but I think that it was.
Would you say that this is the magic of this album?
I think so. Yeah, I think there were 2 very, very. I don't want to call us tortured souls, but we were two men who were really trying to find peace in our life and trying to find healing or whatever, and that's what was in Crime of the Century, and yet there was a lot of hope. I mean, Dreamer, was a very hopeful song. That was me, my optimistic side, my dreamer side, coming out, and everything in between. So it was a very rich album, yeah.
Have you ever expected Crime of the Century being such an enormous success that it was?
No, it was, you don't think about, I didn't think about what was going to happen to it. All I knew is that it was a very magical time. The record company gave us license in the studio to do what we wanted. We were working with Ken Scott, who was a wonderful mentor in recording techniques and experimenting and everything. And it was a fantastic opportunity, and we came up. It's a very, very special album, that, and it has a very strong history within the group members also.
I read something that some of the songs who became later on big hits on one hand, and on the other hand, they just were released, were already written years before.
Mm-hmm. Always. I've always had a huge backlog of material. I still have 60 songs plus that have not been heard. And Breakfast in America, for example, was actually written before Crime of the Century, but it didn't belong on Crime of the Century. It wouldn't have fit it with that collection of songs. So Rick was not as productive with songwriting, so I always had to listen. Okay, what does Rick have? He has these songs. Okay, which of my songs would fit with his? So that's the way it worked. And then when we came to do Breakfast in America, it seemed like, okay, Breakfast in America fits with Goodbye Stranger and Oh Darling. Okay, they kind of work together. So that's what happened.
So because there were two Crisis for Crisis came in between, and even at the quietest moment also.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They actually, Crisis for Crisis, funny enough, is my favorite album, and it didn't do as well because it did not have the hit single. But it's as a collection of songs, I love it.
It's your favorite Supertramp?
It is, yeah. Today.
Do you still listen to it?
I listen to tracks, not very often, but sometimes I put a track or two on. Yeah.
In '83, you left the band and said you want to do your solo career. You released in '84 In the Eye of the Storm. Mm-hmm. Many people said that this is the long-lost Supertramp album because if you're listening to Brother Where You Bound and you're listening to In the Eye of the Storm, you are more Supertramp than Brother Where You Bound was. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that?
Well, I know who I was in Supertramp. I was not just the singer-songwriter. I mean, I really, I was the passionate producer figure, the arranger. I mean, I did a lot within Supertramp, but I never wanted the credit for it. So because Supertramp was it was all about Supertramp. So it was very difficult leaving Supertramp and giving Supertramp to Rick, the name. Probably one of the most foolish things I've ever done. But yes, In the Eye of the Storm was it does. A lot of people tell me that it's very much Supertramp, but it is because I was so much a part of the sound, the arrangements, the voice, the songwriting. So I'm not putting Rick down, but historically it's interesting. My songs seem to have stood the test of time better than his for some reason. But
in '83, you released the last Supertramp album, Famous Last Words. Was it already the idea from your side to leave the band because it's called Famous Last Words?
Yeah, it was, the band was, Famous Last Words was a real disappointment because the songs, my songs, Had a Dream, Brother Where You Bound, a lot of the songs that went on my solo album and went on Brother Where You Bound, Rick's next album, we were going to be on Famous Last Words, but they were too difficult because the band was not unified enough to really do them justice. So the collection of songs that ended up on Famous Last Words was very compromised. There was huge compromise, and I couldn't live with it. It was hard, and it was obvious to me that the writing was on the wall. I couldn't get it back. The spirit had gone, and there has to be that spirit and unity within any group of people working together to make something good come out of it, and I couldn't do it. So Rick and I actually both agreed on the title, Famous Last Words. We're not doing this again.
You just said you have 60 plus songs in the bag. So can we expect another album?
I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. We're living in very interesting times, as you know. I don't know whether it's even about CDs anymore. Maybe I'll just record a song and put it on YouTube and let people, listen to it that way. I don't know. It's such a different world now. Than people don't listen to 40 minutes of music anymore. I used to create 40-minute listening experiences, take people on a journey. But now it's about the song. People don't have the time, except in concert. See, in concerts, I can take people on a 2-hour journey, and take them through different emotions and highs and low, and give them a real deep experience. But people don't listen, I don't think, to whole albums anymore. So I think, yes, to answer your question, I play a few new songs in the concerts so the fans can hear them. And I hope to get more and more out.
So one last and probably the most asked question. All over the years, there were rumors from time to time about the reunion. So can we expect a reunion? Do you want? Don't you want? Does Rick want?
We tried twice, a couple of times over the years, and there's. I think the time's passed. I really do, because I know that the romantic myth that's associated with the name Supertramp, and unfortunately, all my songs were put out as Supertramp, but actually they're my songs. They were written. I wrote them alone. I did not even write them with Supertramp. So people are hearing my songs when they come to my concerts, and many people are saying, "Wow, I felt like I felt Supertramp in your concerts," which maybe that's a good compliment. I don't know. But I know I was so much a part of the spirit of Supertramp, especially the songwriting and the voice. So I believe that the spirit of the band lives on in my shows, and Rick has the name. He has the trademark of the name, so he goes out occasionally, as Supertramp. But it's a very different. To me, it's not Supertramp. It's Rick with a few other musicians.
That's right.
And it is what it is. But I don't think, if I felt like the magic would be there and Rick and I would come again and we'd create some magic, then maybe I would look at it. But I don't think that would happen. I'm creating more magic by myself, so. And with my great band. I've got a fantastic band, too.
So thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
Great pleasure talking to
Thank
you.
you.
Das war unser Rockantenne-Interview mit Roger Hodgson. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, einfach auf Like klicken. Und wer mehr Interviews sehen möchte, ganz einfach. Unser letztes zum Beispiel war hier Melissa Etheridge mit unserer Kollegin Andrea Weber. Auch ein sehr, sehr interessantes Interview. Schönen Tag noch.
I think one of the most surprising things for me, being in my 50s, is actually
Rockantenne. 100% Rock. Nonstop.